Last week, a guy pulled into my bay, handed me his key, and told me he was about to trade his paid-off luxury coupe in for $4,000 because the dealer warned him it was too expensive to keep running. I put it on the lift, spent 10 minutes underneath it, and made him a better offer than the dealer did for my own driveway. That car had one cracked dashboard and a set of tired tires. That was it. And it's the exact kind of coupe I'm going to tell you about today. 3 luxury 2-doors that the market treats like radioactive waste, that depreciate like they owe somebody money, and that I would trust to outlast cars costing 3 times as much. After 20-plus years under the hood, these are the ones I quietly tell my own family to buy. Let's get into it. Here's the thing nobody on a car lot will admit to you. A luxury badge scares people away from a used coupe far more than a reliable badge does. Everyone assumes German, assumes expensive, assumes you'll be living at the dealership. And for a lot of luxury coupes, they're right. But there are a handful built by engineers who weren't trying to impress a spec sheet, and they were trying to build something that would not die. Those are the ones depreciation forgot. I'm counting down 3 of them, and I'm saving the most bulletproof one for last, because it's the car I would buy this afternoon if I needed a coupe and wanted to never think about it again. Number 3, Infiniti G37 Coupe. The G37 Coupe is one of those cars that mechanics see roll into the shop and quietly think, I hope this guy ever wants to sell. Because when one comes in, there is usually nothing wrong with it that a fluid change will not fix. And right now, you can buy a clean one for the price of a used economy hatchback. I had a younger customer last year, mid-20s, first real job, came in convinced he wanted a used 3 Series. He had saved about 11 grand and was ready to hand it to a BMW dealer for a 328i with close to 100,000 miles. I told him to give me one afternoon before he signed anything. I pulled up a 2011 G37 Coupe, rear-wheel drive, the 3.7-liter V6, around 78,000 miles, listed at $10,400. More horsepower than the BMW, a naturally aspirated engine instead of a turbo waiting to leak, and a repair history that would let him sleep at night. He bought it. 14 months later, his total spend on that car outside of gas and insurance, brake pads, and an oil change. That's it. Here's what's actually going on under the hood. The G37 uses Nissan's VQ37 VHR, a 3.7-liter V6, making around 330 horsepower in the coupe. This is the same engine family that powers the Nissan 370Z. It's a genuine sports car motor, not a luxury cruiser afterthought. It's chain-driven, so there's no timing belt service hanging over your head. There's no turbo to fail because it's naturally aspirated, and you get a choice of a proper 7-speed automatic or a 6-speed manual, both of which will go the distance if you keep clean fluid in them. Repair Pal scores the G37 a 4.0 out of 5.0 for reliability, ranks it 8th out of 31 luxury midsize cars, and pegs the average annual repair cost at around $540, well below the $739 luxury average. The probability of a repair being a major one is just 8%, compared to 12% for the segment. Those aren't my numbers, those are the industry's. Now let me be straight with you, because I'm not here to sell you a fantasy. The G37 has a couple of known quirks, and you want to screen for them. First, the timing chain tensioner. On higher mileage examples, usually somewhere between 80,000 and 120,000 miles, you can get a rattle on cold startup. If you hear ticking or rattling for the first few seconds when the engine's cold, walk away or use it to knock a couple grand off the price, because that repair can run $1,500 to $2,500. Second, the 2008 and 2009 cars are famous for cracked dashboards. It's cosmetic, it won't strand you, but it tells you the car lived its life baking in the sun, so check the rest of it harder. Third, the paint on these is thin. Owners complain about chips and rock rash constantly, so don't expect showroom paint and don't let a few stone chips talk you out of a mechanically perfect car. When you go look at one, do three things. Cold start it yourself before the seller warms it up and listen for that tension or rattle. Get it on the highway and make sure it pulls clean and shifts smooth with no hesitation. And check underneath the front of the engine for oil seepage around the valve covers. A little weeping is normal on an aging Nissan V6 and a bargaining chip, but a soaked engine bay means neglect. Used prices right now sit roughly between $7,000 and $12,000, depending on miles and trim. For 330 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, a near 50-50 weight balance, and a luxury interior that still feels special, that is one of the best dollars per smile deals on the entire used market. The only reason it's this cheap is that it says Infiniti on the trunk, and the market forgot it existed. If the G37 surprised you, this next one is going to sound like I've lost my mind, because it wears the one badge everyone tells you to run from. Number 2, Mercedes-Benz CLK500. Yes, a Mercedes. On a list of cars built like tanks, stay with me, because this is the most misunderstood car I'm going to talk about today. And the reason comes down to one engine code, M113. Most people hear used Mercedes 5.8, and they picture a money pit with a heated steering wheel. And honestly, for a lot of Mercedes from this era, that reputation is earned. But the W209 CLK500, that is the 2003 to 2006 cars, before they switched engines, runs the M1135.0-liter V8. And that motor is one of the most dependable, naturally aspirated engines Mercedes ever built. This is the same basic V8 architecture Mercedes dropped into the E500, the S500, and a pile of AMG cars. It's chain-driven, it's understressed, and it just refuses to quit. I'll give you the kind of detail that matters. On the Mercedes forums, there is an owner whose CLK500 has crossed 313,000 miles, and who says he would jump in it and drive across the country tomorrow without a second thought. Another guy traded in an older Mercedes with the same engine block at 172,000 miles, still running strong, and liked it so much he went out and bought a CLK500. That's not marketing, that's owners with six-figure odometers telling you what the engine actually does. A buddy of mine, a tech I trust, picked up a 2005 CLK500 a couple of years back, specifically because he wanted something he could hand down to his kid one day. He paid under $8,000 for it with around 100,000 miles. The V8 did not need a thing. The work he did was the stuff any 20-year-old luxury car needs. Fresh fluids, a couple of suspension bushings, new engine mounts, all the rubber and plastic that ages out, none of it the actual powertrain. The drivetrain itself, the M113 paired with the 722.65 speed automatic, is a combination the people who know these cars literally call bulletproof. That's the word that comes up over and over. Now here's where I earn my keep, because there's a trap on this car and you have to know it. The CLK switched engines partway through. The 2003 through 2006 CLK500 with the M113 V8 is the one you want. When Mercedes moved to the newer M272 V6 and M273 V8 engines around 2005 and up, including the later CLK550, those motors had a well-documented balance shaft and sprocket weakness that could chew up a timing chain on cars built through 2007. So this is critical. You are shopping specifically for the M113 powered CLK500, ideally 2003 to 2006. Buy the engine, not just the body style. If you're looking at a later car, you need to verify the updated parts are in it, and that's a homework assignment most buyers skip. The other thing to expect, and it's not scary, is leaks. These older V8 engines will weep from the valve cover gaskets and sometimes the rear main seal as they age. A valve cover gasket is an easy, cheap, permanent fix with genuine parts. A rear main seal is a bigger job, roughly $1,000, so check for it and price it in. When you inspect one, get it up on a lift if you can and look for oil. Check that the convertible top works flawlessly if it's a cabriolet, because top mechanisms are expensive. And do what you'd do with any 20-year-old car, assume the catalytic converters, mounts, and suspension are near the end of their first life and budget a refresh. Market prices on these are honestly a little insulting to how good the engine is. Clean CLK500 models trade in the $5,000 to $8,000 range. You are buying a hand-built Mercedes Fee Mombi 8 Grand Tourer, the same engine family that lived in cars that cost six figures new for the price of a high-mileage commuter. The badge that scares everyone else away is the exact reason you get to buy it for nothing. But if you think a $6,000 Mercedes 5.8 is the most underrated car on this list, my number one has been quietly outliving everything around it for over 2 decades, and people still make fun of it. Number 1. Lexus SC430. The SC430 is the car I'd point a friend toward if they wanted a luxury coupe, a folding hardtop, a V8, and a genuine promise that it would still be running long after they got bored of it. And almost nobody takes it seriously, which is the whole reason it's a steal. Let me tell you why I'm obsessed with this thing. When it came out, the automotive press didn't know what to do with it. Too soft for the sports car crowd, too flashy for the luxury crowd. A famous British show once called it one of the worst cars of its era. And that reputation, fair or not, tanked its image and tanked its resale value. But here's what those reviewers never put in the headline. Under that polarizing body sits a 4.3-liter V8 called the 3UZ-FE, and it is one of the most over-engineered, indestructible engines Toyota has ever bolted together. The 3UZ-FE in the SC430 is the same engine you will find in the Lexus LS430 and GS430 luxury sedans, the flagship cars. It is an all-aluminum 32-valve V8 with variable valve timing. It is part of the legendary UZ engine family, the same lineage Toyota trusted in Land Cruisers and Tundras. Owners and mechanics describe it the same way every single time: smooth as silk and bulletproof. The internals are built to a standard that has nothing to do with what the car cost. There is no turbo to fail. The transmission behind it is a durable automatic that, with regular fluid changes, simply lasts. I have seen these engines treated terribly and keep running. The only thing that reliably kills a 3UZ is something catastrophic and avoidable, like driving it through deep water. Short of that, They go and go. I had a customer a while back, a woman in her 50s, recently retired, who wanted something fun, but something that will not leave me stranded. She was looking at convertibles and getting scared off by repair cost horror stories. I showed her a 2006 SC430 with the power folding hardtop, full service records, around 90,000 miles, listed under $15,000. She was hesitant because of the styling and because she had heard it was a joke car. I told her the joke was on everyone selling them cheap. She bought it. She is still driving it, top down on weekends, and the only money she has put into it is routine maintenance and a set of tires. Her words to me were, "Why is this car so cheap?" And that is exactly the right question. Here is the honest fine print, because the SC430 has one real maintenance item you cannot ignore, and it separates the buyers who get a 20-year tank from the ones who blow it up. Unlike the chain-driven engines I have already talked about, the 3UZ-FE uses a timing belt. Lexus calls for the timing belt and water pump to be replaced around 90,000 to 100,000 miles. Skip that, and you risk overheating and head gasket damage on an otherwise immortal engine. So when you shop, the single most important question is, when was the timing belt last done? If the seller has a receipt showing it was replaced in the last 30,000 miles, you have found gold. If they look at you blankly and the car has 110,000 miles, budget around $900 to $1,200 to have it done immediately and negotiate accordingly. It is not a flaw in the car. It is just the price of admission, and it is cheap insurance on an engine that will otherwise run effectively forever. The rest of the inspection is simple. The cooling system is the other thing to watch. Radiators on these can leak at the lower tank as they age, and you do not want coolant getting into the transmission cooler, so check the coolant condition and look for any pink in the wrong places. Cycle the folding hardtop all the way down and all the way up, twice, and make sure it is smooth and quiet with no warning lights. That roof is the car's party trick, and you want it perfect. Check that the wood, the leather, and the Mark Levinson stereo all work, because these were loaded cars, and the interiors usually hold up beautifully if they were not abused. And expect to check engine light from an aging oxygen sensor here and there. It is almost always just a sensor, not a disaster. Now the numbers, because this is where it gets absurd. A clean 2002 to 2010 SC430 with full records and under 120,000 miles can be found for $15,000 or less. For that money, you are getting a Lexus V8, the flagship sedan engine, wrapped in a retractable hardtop convertible with an interior of hand-finished wood and leather that still feels expensive 2 decades later. There is a real argument that these have already bottomed out and have collector appeal coming, because the people who mock them are the same people now realizing nothing else from that era runs this cleanly this far down the road. Who should buy an SC430? Somebody who wants a relaxed, refined cruiser that drops its top in 25 seconds and never strands them. Somebody who could not care less what a car magazine said in 2003. And somebody smart enough to see that unfashionable and unreliable are two completely different words. Who should skip it? If you want a sharp, aggressive sports car that carves corners, this is not it. It is a grand tourer, built for comfort, not lap times. And if you cannot commit to staying on top of that timing belt and cooling system, buy one of the chain-driven cars above instead. If I had to put one luxury coupe in my own garage today and drive it for the next 10 years without thinking about it, knowing what is actually underneath, I would take a well-kept SC430 with a fresh timing belt and not look back. So there you have it. 3 luxury coupes the market treats like nobody wants them, that are quietly built like tanks. The Infiniti G37 Coupe with a 370Z engine and a $540 per year repair bill sitting on lots for the price of a used Civic. The Mercedes CLK500 hiding the bulletproof M113 V8 behind a badge that scares everyone else off for around $6,000. And the Lexus SC430, laughed at when it was new, and now one of the most over-engineered convertibles you can buy for under $15,000. Next time you are on a lot and a salesman steers you away from a risky used luxury coupe towards something boring and overpriced, you will know exactly what he is hiding. If this kind of straight talk is useful to you, subscribe. I have more videos coming on the cars dealers push versus the ones that actually make sense. Take care of these, and they will take care of you. I will see you in the next one.